We're good for the Tandragee 100 and the sixth round of the Irish Championships. The bikes are ready and everyone's raring to go. Robert Dunlop lying fourth in the 125s. Richard Britton, the 600 championship leader. Joey Dunlop's looking for his 17th Tandragee win. He set the fastest lap time here in 1995. Bob Jackson, man of the meeting at Cookstown, he's keen to make an impression here. Tandragee was celebrating a ruby anniversary with 40 years of road racing. The first race in 1958 attracted an entry of over 80. Many famous names have appeared here. Ray McCullough had the first of his 10 Tandragee wins in 1971. Brian Reid clocked up 14 wins at Tandragee, the second most successful rider at the course. Joey Dunlop is top man with 16 victories, his first in 1983. Ah, the memories.
Well, I remember the start was on the Cabaret Straight, but I can't remember what the weather was like. But inside the first 3 years was a terrible wet day. We couldn't use the paddock, had to use one of the side roads. And I was doing runner that day, but I don't know what my official capacity was. I think it was just a marshal. At that time, it was a Tandragee 100, it was a 100-miler, but it was all one race. All classes went as a handicaps for several years at the start.
Didn't get off to an ideal start with Nigel McCullough crashing out during the practice session. He was taken to hospital with injuries to his arm, but has since made a good recovery. When the first event, the support race, got underway, it was late entry Anthony McColgan who was to dominate, and Marlacoo Corner, which would prove difficult to navigate. Alan Drysdale and Harold Crooks on commentary.
The lights change and off they go in this support race. Barry Maguire and Neil Duncan, the two men leading them round the first right-hander at the paddock gate. Very fast right-hander. It's number 19, Neil Duncan, now the leader, as they're heading down into Marlacoo for the first time. Heading down in there, number 14 is Stephen Duddy from number 99. Anthony McColgan. McColgan going through on the inside. Makes his way past the early leader. The rest of the field streaming through here. Back marker being left behind. But the battle now on at the front. As George Jeffers forces his way past number 14, Stephen Duddy. We're now at Cooley Hill and the leader is number 99, Anthony McColgan.
57, Les Williams runs wide there. Cooley Hill always hard to judge in the break, and Tony Moss there getting it wrong as well.
We're now on the very fast stretch along the Market Hill Road with number 99 Anthony McColgan setting the pace. This is the place where speed and power count most. Really powering it on their way down to Bell's Crossroads and into the start and finish area as we see Philip Benson there. But the leader at the front is still Anthony McColgan, number 99 from number 94, George Jeffers. McColgan now swinging it right around the very fast sweeping bend at the paddock gate. Looking for them, approaching Marlacoo, and it's still number 99, McColgan, from number 19, Neil Duncan, and number 94, George Jeffers in third place. We're now on lap 4. And throughout the first 3 laps, the pattern has remained unaltered. They exit the right-hander out into the country once again as we see Victor Gilmore and Les Williams battling it out for 5th and 6th place. They're safely away, but Tony Moss isn't safe. Second mistake, Alan.
Yeah, he made a mistake and got away with it at Cooley Hill earlier on, but not so this time. The Marsh is clearing it up and more riders coming into. Oh, and this man's in problems as well. 98 there collides with Billy Hamilton, 95, so Andrew Patterson cleans him. And a few words there as to who's to blame about that one.
So the front runner is still leading, number 99, Anthony McColgan. The front 4 still in position. Round the left-hander. Very fast part of the circuit. Line astern there, getting the benefit from the slipstreaming. McColgan goes through number 19, Neil Duncan runs wide. So it's McColgan now. Up into second place goes George Jeffers. Third is Colin Rogers, 1.6 second down. So the order at the front changing as they go out onto the last lap. But still McColgan from Jeffers. Hard on the brakes. You can see the front wheel moving from side to side under the pressure of the braking as they go down into Marlacoo. Accelerates out, head down. Heading into the country once again. First four of them safely through. Still McColgan leads. Jeffers in second place. Number 19 Duncan there in third. Number 41 Rogers in fourth. But they're down into Castle Corner and Jeffers runs wide, almost into the wall there. McColgan still at Cooleyhill, the leader from Ewell Duncan. Then up to third place goes number 41 Colin Rogers. Jeffers recovers from that mistake. Get in there in fourth place. They're now picking up a back marker as they come down the Market Hill Road. Over the top of the hill, flat out. A back marker again could make the difference as McColgan comes into Bell's Crossroads, cranks it in, turns on the power as Kenneth McRae keeps well out of the way. McColgan heads for the line ahead of Duncan and Rogers, who finish in second and third place. A good win there for McColgan. Flicks up the visor and happy.
So Anthony McColgan taking an easy, if unexpected, victory there on the Yamaha 750. Ewell Duncan just 1.79 seconds behind, and Colin Rogers was in there to take third place. The first championship race of the day was the 125 event. Taking a look at the front row, there's number 2 Dennis McCullough, number 9 is Owen McNally. On this side it's Robert Dunlop. Words of advice there from Liam Beckett. And completing the front row, number 6 Gary Dines. Joey Dunlop would come to grief in this race, getting some last minute adjustments there to the visor from David Wood. And Bob Jackson also going in this one. We join Harold Crooks at the start.
And off they go. Dines on the outside, McCullough, McNally, Joey Dunlop, Robert Dunlop. The flying five into the right-hander at the paddock for the first time. The 125 singing their way. Second group getting away now, led by Raymond Hanna, number 65. Last man away there, number 98, Bob Jackson. But the leaders now getting their heads down in the B125s, getting everything tucked in, making sure that they're getting as much out of the little machines as possible. And it's McNally who we see first. The field streaming through there. Round the white line he comes, down into the left-hander, out of our sight for a moment. But then head down, here he comes. It's number 9, that man Owen McNally from Robert Dunlop. Into Marty Coo for the first time. McNally leads, Robert Dunlop in second. The rest of the field there, right on his tail. Look at this as they head down the very fast stretch of the Armagh Road. Number 9, McNally from Robert Dunlop, from Dennis McCullough, from Joey Dunlop, from Gary Dines. Into Cooleyhill, it's still McNally. McCullough's now up to second, Robert's third, Joey's fourth, Dines is fifth. What a battle this is, right from the start. Very fast stretch this. He has a look underneath. There's left arm to see where the opposition is, and it's right on his tail in the form of Dennis McCullough and Robert Dunlop. Nothing gained here as they come down. Three abreast down into Bell's Crossroads for the first time. It's McNally, McCullough, Robert Dunlop, Joey Dunlop and Dines. What a race this is, Alan.
Yeah, absolute cracker for this, and Robert there just trying to go through on Dennis McCullough as they go up into the paddock right-hander.
Chris McNally still leads. Robert up to second place now. Dennis McCullough down to third. Over the crest of the hill, full tilt. Robert Dunlop and oh, look at the wiggle he has there. But he still squeezes between McNally and the hedge to take the lead. And it's now Robert Dunlop from McNally, from Dennis McCullough. Joey still in there in fourth place. Dines holding a brief there in fifth. Round Marley Coo to go. Joey head down behind the screen, chasing McCullough. Robert Dunlop's coming back into second place there as McNally regains the lead. And it's still Robert Dunlop now out over the crest. McNally second, McCullough right inside him. Then it's Joey Dunlop really flat out here as Dennis McCullough dropping back there. It's Robert Dunlop, Joey Dunlop, McNally, Dennis McCullough, Gary Dines the order. Joey now leads at Cooleyhill. Down into the left-hander, hard on the brakes. Robert in second place. McNally, McCullough, Dines. There's no love lost between the Dunlop brothers when they get on the track, Alan.
Certainly tough men, the two of them, and the other three tough guys behind them. This is anyone's race at the moment as they battle it out. Dines just looks to be a little shade down there on top speed as they come up the hill.
But it's still Joey from Robert. Out over the crest of the hill, keeping all tucked in, down into Bell's Crossroads. It's still Joey Dunlop from brother Robert. Dennis McCulloch finding space there on the inside. McNally on the outside. Dine still there with them as they head across the line once again. Joey Dunlop, the pace setter, a man who has vast experience and a variety of capacities. He's an amazing man who can ride anything from a 125 to a 750. As they appear again, it's still Joey, Robert, McCulloch, the front three, with the other pair just waiting for their chance to get to the front. Joey goes right wide there, using every centimetre of the road. Robert still in second place, but he's up alongside his brother now and going into the lead once again. It's Robert Dunlop from Joey Dunlop. And look at Dennis McCulloch, he's on the outside. He thinks it's his turn, but Joey's having none of it. He shuts the door, slams it tight in his face as they come down into Castle Corner.
Whoops, and Joey really forces his way through in Robert there. Certainly no love lost in that move, Harold, as they come back down towards Cooley Hill.
And again it's Joey, the man in front from Robert, in second place. Into Cooley Hill, right-hander, Dennis McCulloch right, parked on the back wheel of Robert Dunlop. Nobody looking around to see where the rest of the opposition is, because they know it's right there behind them. Going back then to the back markers there, led by Darren Lindsay and Bob Jackson right at the back, an unusual place for him. A man who's not used to riding a 125 as much as these boys at the front. It's still Joey Dunlop from Robert Dunlop. Dennis McCulloch still in third place. McNally still fourth. Dine still in fifth. Keeping the power on. Heads down in behind the screen. Everything tucked in. Gary Dines tells me if you even stick out an elbow, you lost about 500 revs. Taking the speed, and it's Robert back to the front again. Joey is second. Dennis is third. So McCulloch in third. Dines is up to fourth. McNally demoted to fifth. We're on lap 4, heading out into the country. It's still Robert Dunlop from Joey Dunlop and Dennis McCulloch. McNally still in fourth. See how tight they are here. Little paw of the front wheel there from Robert Dunlop. He comes down the brakes, and remember, he's braking with the thumb of his left hand while the other boys are using their right foot. McNally still in fourth ahead of Dines. Must be a bit of a disadvantage around a circuit like this, Alan, the thumb brake.
Well, there's certainly 4 very hard braking areas there around the course, but looking now coming down the Cabra Straight, coming up to about 125 miles per hour there. The first 3 machines looking pretty even. McNally there in fourth, and Dines, as I say, he seems to be out of it a little bit on top speed.
And it looks as if Dennis McCulloch was going for second place, and he's taking it as they go round Castle Corner. It's Robert Dunlop from McCulloch, from Joey Dunlop. He's right in there again. McNally now, he thinks it's his turn to get into the front 3, but no room for him there. Dines goes wide, he swings it into the right-hander. So the running order at the moment is Robert Dunlop, Dennis McCulloch, Joey Dunlop, Owen McNally and Gary Dines. What a race it is. Absolutely unbelievable, Harold, because they're now all back just absolutely line astern here as they come up the Market Hill Road and heading back up towards Bells. So Robert Dunlop on the Patsy Kane Honda, setting the pace, and what a pace it has been. McCulloch now stays wide, thinks he can run wide and then cut across, and he goes into the lead. So a new leader again. It's Dennis McCulloch from Robert Dunlop. Owen McNally's up to third. Joey's down to fourth. Gary Dine still holds fifth. And look at Robert turning on the power as they go up into the right-hander at the paddock. It's Robert Dunlop back to the lead. This is incredible stuff in the 125 race. No room for errors here. The order's still the same. Robert Dunlop holding it. Look at the wiggle there. McNally then is the widest of the 3 in the front. Joey now being passed by Dines. He's back to fifth at Marlicoe. The battle, unbelievable. It's a war, this, rather than a battle. Robert Dunlop leads. Dennis McCulloch now in second place. Owen McNally third. Joey's back to fifth as Dines takes over fourth. You can perm any of the 5 numbers any way you like, and you'll probably be right. It doesn't matter what they are. But here they come, and look at McNally going through on the inside of Robert Dunlop at Castle Corner. He still leads as they approach Cooley Hill. It's McNally, Robert Dunlop, Dennis McCulloch, Joey Dunlop and Gary Dines. Heads behind the screen once again. Power on, up the gearbox into top gear, keeping the revs up. Running very wide there. Significant of the speed that the 125s are doing down this very fast stretch of the course. Heading towards Bell's Crossroads. It's McNally now. Robert Dunlop in second place. Joey holding fourth as they disappear. The back marker there, number 16, Alan Hines, doesn't know what's going to hit him. And this is where the skill appears. We're now on lap 6. Robert Dunlop taking advantage of the traffic, goes round the right-hander. That's an amazing shot as you see the fast men going past the slower ones, Alan.
Absolutely, and here they come. And just watch this man, Gary Dines, there at the back of the picture. They're coming through now. Super fast through the next section of the course as we wait for them to come down towards Marlacoo. There's McNally, and Dines is with them again. So Dines absolutely with them again as they come down in.
And the man being gobbled up then by them is Brian Campbell. The 5 of them still in there. Dines still at the back, as Alan said, with them. But the fight is really on. McNally now making his bid for the front and holding it as they come into Castle Corner. It's still McNally, Robert Dunlop, Joey Dunlop, Dennis McCulloch, Gary Dines. What can happen next? It's still McNally. There's Robert. There's McCulloch. There's Dines. Where's Joey? Joey has gone missing. So Joey has dropped out of the front 5. We're down to 4 riders. The red flag is out. The race has been stopped. Joey Dunlop has crashed out on the 6th lap of this race.
When Joey was taken to hospital, it was confirmed that he'd lost part of a finger, he'd broken bones in his hand, broken his collarbone and damaged his pelvis. So Joey on his way to hospital. Now, after a crash like that, incident report forms are filled out, and this one showed that Joey's accident was caused when the machine was on the right of the road, the front end slid away, followed by the rear end. He lost control almost immediately, resulting in crashing out and crossing the course diagonally for a distance of 180 feet. But not even this could deter Joey.
It was a tight race. There was 5 of us, and it was coming near the end, and it just happened to be me that made the mistake, and nobody else to blame. That's time anyway. Got really fit this year, and I've been on a special diet and to keep myself in good fit, and I'm not going to just throw it away now, just because I had an accident.
It was decided that the result would be taken from the end of lap 5. Owen McNally and Robert Dunlop crossed the line in identical times, but McNally was given the verdict by half a wheel. So McNally deemed to be the winner of the 125 over Robert Dunlop. Joey, lying 3rd at the end of lap 5, gets the points. Accidents such as Joey's illustrates the importance of getting medical attention as quickly as possible to injured riders. Fred McSorley is a travelling doctor.
The idea of the bike really is to equip it, that it carries enough equipment to keep someone alive if they're critically ill for about a 10-minute period, in which case then I can call using the radio that I have for backup if necessary. Dr. McManus then comes in a jeep or a suitable vehicle equipped with a lot more equipment, and a paramedic and a communications officer as well. But what we have on the bike today, as I said, is fairly typical. I have an oxygen cylinder on the back with a high flow head, which will give me 15 litres a minute of oxygen, on a quick release system, which obviously is easy to lift off. It just sort of pulls off like that. The idea of having quick release is that if I'm in a field, as I was earlier on today, with a collapsed spectator, I just have to shout for oxygen, and the marshals can very quickly lift this off without sort of ripping something off the bike or disturbing the bike. I have a defibrillator. It's very small, very light, extremely compact, which is why I chose this particular model for the bike. And as you can see, its simplicity itself, it just charges up and is very, very easy to use. The majority of equipment, which is really quite expensive, has been raised from money obtained by a levy actually on the riders themselves. It's, I think, about 50 pence or 75 pence per rider per race. This is the radio, which is linked both to a small microphone here, which I can use to speak, a small button there to transmit, and also have a connection which is into the back of the helmet, so that when I'm riding I can actually hear what's happening around the circuit, and I can get an accurate location both to where the casualty is and also the extent of the problem. These are various airways that I use, and there are various intubation bits of kit and oxygen masks in a particular bag. I carry then a bag here which has suction equipment for use in airway problems, and then have a bag of various drugs with painkillers, drugs for cardiac arrest, drugs for diabetic problems, and then finally the intravenous kit with a pair of scissors for cutting the leathers to have access to the intravenous circulation, obviously stethoscope and some of the intravenous fluids. Again, enough just to sort of keep me going until further backup can arrive.
The next race, incorporating the 250cc and Junior Open, was run over 6 laps. Joey had won the 250cc race at Cookstown, but was out of this one. It was left to Dines, McCulloch and McNally to battle it out. On commentary again, Alan Drysdale and Harold Crooks.
And the 250s watch the lights, revs go up, and the 250s get away from the front of the grid. And the first man to shoe, number 6, Gary Dines. Round the right-hander, up round the paddock bend once again. When they're in full tilt, up round that, they're going round there about 125 miles per hour. The 750s getting off the line. Bob Jackson leads James Courtney with Adrian Archibald coming through very quickly there from the second row of the grid. But it's Jackson, Archibald on the inside as they go round that very fast right-hander there. It's Dines who leads. And the right-hander heading for Marley-Coo for the first time. It's Dines from McCulloch. Down on the brakes. Into the right-hander they go. McCulloch in second place. Farquhar, then McNally. Then it's Trevor Keys and Norman Gordon making up the top 6. The power on now. Heads behind the screens on the 250s. Up to around 140 miles per hour. Dennis McCulloch goes to the inside there, wondering if he can get a space to get past that man Dines, but there's none there for him. Down into Castle Corner they come. Dines leads, McCulloch second, McNally third, Farquhar fourth. At Cooley Hill, it's still that man Dines, the pace setter from McCulloch. The Moira Racing Club backing Dines. McCulloch on the Sanyo Honda. Farquhar still holding 4th place there behind Owen McNally, disappearing out of her sight. Then James Courtney on the big 750 Tilson Honda. He squeezes past Cyril Devlin on the 600 Honda. Down the very fast stretch now towards Bell's Crossroads. Dines has a look to see where McCulloch is, and he's right on his back wheel. Then it's McNally. Farquhar losing a little bit back there. Then 2 more, it's still Trevor Keys and Norman Gordon really getting the front wheel into the air. So the 250 battle raging again. Alan, will this be as tight a race as the 125, do you think?
It's certainly building up that way. Dines and McCulloch, they're out through, but McNally has now gone through into 3rd ahead of Farquhar. Farquhar, he's running wide there again. He ran wide at Cooley Hill, a little bit wide again at Bell. So the Tandragee course here, very hard to learn. But Gary Dines mastered on the brakes for Cooley Hill there, with McCulloch behind him and McNally now closing in, Harold.
For the front 3 now, on their way back towards the Bell's Crossroads again. Farquhar certainly may have a handling problem because he's losing ground to the front 3 as we look at Norman Gordon and that first of the 750s there. It's James Courtney, Trevor Keys, Bob Jackson riding Cooley Hill, getting the power on, and I'm surprised that James Courtney has the lead over Bob Jackson that he has. But back to the front of the 250s, it's still number 6, Dines from McCulloch and McNally now, right up with them. Farquhar still holding on to that 4th place. He's really out of it now, Alan.
He certainly is, but this man here is in a real charge, and he elbows through past Norman Gordon that time. We saw him do it to Cyril Devlin at Cooley Hill in the opening lap. So James Courtney absolutely on a charge.
The 250 order, still Dines, McCulloch and McNally. McNally holding the watching brief behind the 2 guys in front of him. They cross the start-finish line. Look at McNally going really wide. He was almost out onto the grass there. He has the power on this time. Round the right-hander there at about 125 miles per hour at Paddock. And here's that man, James Courtney, on the big Tilson Honda. The flames flicking from the exhaust pipe there, Alan.
Yeah, James lights up the Olympic torch there on the way in. Just the unburnt fuel in the exhaust there lighting up. But back here with the leaders.
And it's Dines from McNally, from McCulloch. And Marley-Coo going out onto a very fast stretch down the Armagh Road or the Cabra Straight is where they used to start the race. And McNally now has the red mist down. He eases past into the lead. So McNally now the new leader as they come down into Castle Corner. This is where the braking is vital. It's McNally from Dines and McCulloch. Still McNally. Dines in 2nd place. McCulloch holding on to that 3rd place. So these 3 making a real race of it, Alan.
Absolutely, and gone through Cooley Hill there, one of the hardest points to break here on the course because it's coming down a series of steps as the road falls away from you. Just watch Courtney coming down, and he really chucks that 750 through the right-hander at Cooley Hill. Has a quick check, and they celebrates with a wheelie there on the way out.
McNally, Dines, McCulloch, the 250 leaders. using every centimetre of the road out onto the top of the crest, getting lined up for Bell's Crossroads. Look at McCulloch going very wide here. Is he thinking of going wide and then cutting across in the apex as they exit the corner? But it's still McNally from Dines, 0.4 of a second, 0.5 McCulloch. She's just a bat of an eyelid in it. Farquhar, Gordon and Ferguson now in 4th, 5th and 6th positions in that 250 race. At the end of the 5th lap, Gary Dines goes round the outside and goes into the lead. McNally now in 2nd place, Dennis McCulloch still in 3rd. James Courtney battling on there at the front of the 750 race ahead of Ryan Farquhar on the 250. They're heading towards the yellow flag with the cross, which means it's the last lap as we pick up Bob Jackson in 2nd place in the 750 race. Not pushing it too hard. Dines is really pushing on there, Alan.
Yeah, Gary Dines is superb in that section of the course throughout the racing this afternoon, but McNally high in there. McNally hasn't given up on this one yet, and he closes in on him there as they go away out of that left-hander.
Then the 750 leader there is James Courtney, still ahead of Farquhar in 3rd place in the 250 race. But the man then 2nd in the 750 is Bob Jackson on the McAdoo Kawasaki. Then it's Adrian Archibald in 3rd in that bigger capacity class race. But at the front of the 250, it's still Gary Dines with Owen McNally really having a go at him, with Dennis McCulloch still in there in 3rd place. Down into Castle Corner for the last time. McNally still waiting his chance to get past, still not made it at Cooley Hill. It's still that man Dines in the lead. McNally is 2nd, McCulloch is 3rd. A 3-horse battle this one in the 250 race. They're heading down towards Bell's Cross for the last time. James Courtney still powering on the 750 Tilston Honda. Comes round that right-hander, which looks very tight, but almost short-circuiting it. Followed there by Farquhar in the 250 race, and then Bob Jackson, the 2nd man in the 750 class, who has no hope of catching Courtney now, Alan.
Doesn't look like it there. Jackson certainly 7th for that 2nd position, but here's the battle for the lead coming up to Bell's for the last time. Going to be a battle here on the brakes, Harold.
In they come, Dines holding him off there. McNally there had a thought about it on the inside, but it's a very fast stretch. Down into the corner they come. Dines on the outside. McNally goes for the inside. He's having problems with the braking. He runs wide. Dines turns on the power. Capitalises on McNally's mistake. Will he hold him off? They're heading towards the line. Half a bike's in it. Dines wins by half a bike's length from McNally in 2nd place. What a finish to the 250 race. James Courtney wheelies to celebrate his win in the 750 race. And they enjoyed it too.
So another very close one there, with Gary Dines winning the battle. Owen McNally and Dennis McCulloch less than a second behind. Farquhar half a minute adrift in 4th.
The pressure was there the whole race, especially the last 2 miles there along the Market Hill Road there was hectic.
But of course you're the 250 Irish champion. We expect you to win, don't we?
Aye, well, it's not that easy, but...
Meanwhile, James Courtney was raging ahead of Bob Jackson in the Junior Open. Adrian Archibald in 3rd, ahead of Britton, Gardner and Nugent.
Got away and from the beginning, I just kept the pace up and was happy to get to the finish, yeah. Were you aware that Bob Jackson was a fair distance behind you? Well, I had a pit board there, yes, and was checking on the pit board. Everything seemed to be just nice enough, yes, good enough.
And what about the choice of tyres today?
Oh, better choice today. It was slicks on. It was this time, well, I had them on the last time, but it was wet the last time, so with the right choice on today.
There's the result of the Super Sport race. Trevor Ferguson, the winner, followed home by Neil McWhirter. 3rd place, Raymond Hanna. The next championship event was the Regal 600, a race which was to see the red flags out yet again on the Tandragee course. Bob Jackson there on the front row as expected. Alan and Harold once again describing the action.
Let's build. Lights change from red to green. Bob Jackson gets the whole shot from Adrian Archibald. James Courtney's in there. Richard Britton out on the outside in 2nd place. So it's Jackson from Britain through the dust. 2nd group getting away now, led by Eddie Sinton. Powering their way in the sunshine round the right-hander at Paddock Bend. A vast field here in this 600 Super Sport race. The leaders are already on their way, and it's Bob Jackson from Britain and Archibald with James Courtney in 4th place. Down into Marleycoo they come. Jackson, Britain looking for a space on the inside on the Schimmel Honda. He edges between Bob Jackson. Jackson has to lift it there. Adrian Archibald in 3rd. So it's Britain, Jackson, Archibald and Courtney. Another cracker of a race, Alan.
Building up that way, and certainly that was a brave move there by Richard Britton on the brakes. Let's watch him again as he comes down into Castle Corner.
It's Britain from Jackson, from Archibald, from Courtney. Then it's Derek Young. He's followed by Adrian McFarland. We're heading down now into Cooley Hill. Britain, Jackson, Archibald, Courtney, the order. All taking it very gently there. Derek Young, number 5. Then number 6 is Brian Gardner, followed by number 7, Adrian McFarland. Number 55 is Stevie Nugent. So 2 4s, the running order here. We're on the Market Hill Road, flat out now on the 600. It's Britain from Jackson. Then Archibald and Courtney. Down into Bell's Crossroads. Britain leads. Jackson in second place. But Archibald goes on the inside. He squeezes through on the par. Courtney still back there in 4th place. So the order as they cross the line is Britain from Archibald, from Jackson, from Courtney. The battle really on, Alan.
Certainly is, going up through this paddock right-hander at about 125 miles per hour. And hard on the brakes again. Britain still has the edge, Harold.
Britain leads. Archibald second. Jackson third. Courtney 4th. These 4 pulling away from the rest of the field. Then it's Derek Young from Brian Gardner from Ballyclare. Next 2 through are John Donnan and Stevie Nugent. But at the front, the battle rages. Britain, Archibald, Courtney and Jackson, almost 4 abreast across the road. Nothing given away here, Alan, as they go round Castle Corner.
Absolutely braking there from 140 miles per hour, and brave move from Archibald. Now he's at Cooley Hill and the machine wiggling about there on the brakes. Britain still second, Courtney still third.
And they're putting a little bit of daylight between them and Bob Jackson, number 98, in 4th place. Here's a look to see where the next man should be.
Gardner's gone ahead of Young there for 5th position.
Round the right-hander. Number 7 then is still Adrian McFarland. He's in 7th position, carrying the number 7 on the road. And look at this. Victor Gilmore runs absolutely off the road and onto the grass, Alan. A really horrendous crash, that one.
Yes, and here we see it again. He gets offline at the top of the hill to 140 miles per hour, down the verge, flies over the handlebars and then rolls down the road. Thankfully, he doesn't hit anything on the way down as he rolls to a halt. Let's hope it's not as serious as it looks.
The red flag is out. The race is stopped at Castle Corner. But at Bell's Crossroads, the front men are still racing. Adrian Archibald in the lead from Britain and Courtney. But what's that sound we hear?
And it's Archibald's brake caliper has broken there. The rest of the riders point down, so Archibald has to retire, but the red flag has gone out, and that's good news for Archibald because the results will be declared at the end of lap 2.
A disappointing end, and only half points were awarded for this race, the result being taken after 2 laps. Britain the winner, Archibald second, but Britain unhappy with the premature end.
I feel happy about it, like, but I'd rather want the full distance, like, because it wasn't over yet. That was going to go to the line the whole way.
Yes, you were getting it very tight, weren't you?
I wasn't getting it tight. It was just going on the way I could just normally go on, like.
And you reckon had the race gone the full distance, you'd still have been out in front?
Well, it'd have been very close at the line, probably like that. At least between 3 of us, anyway. Only Adrian's caliper broke, so got him out of it a wee bit, but pity.
The Tandragee 100 was the one that the crowds were waiting for. Archibald lining up alongside McNally and Jackson on the front row.
And the Tandragee 100, the big race of the day, gets underway. The 750 men now out in the front of the grid. In the other open race, they had to start from the second batch. But it's Jackson who sets the pace from James Courtney and Adrian Archibald as they appear. Look at the wiggle that Courtney gets there as he powers the 750 Honda. 4th place, it's Richard Britton into Marley Coo for the first time. Jackson leads. The rest of the field streaming through here, the 250s, who will be battling out this time for the lesser places. Down the Cabra straight to come, and it's Jackson from Courtney, from Archibald, from Britton. Then it's the first of the 250s there. Into Castle Corner. Jackson leads from Courtney, from Archibald, from Britton. at Cooley Hill. It's Courtney now who leads, but he gets a big wiggle there as he comes round the right-hander. Jackson in second place. Courtney goes straight on Allen.
Yeah, no way James is going to recover from that. Got totally out of shape at the top of the hill. Couldn't get the brakes on. It was goodbye. He's up the slip road. We'll have to turn round now and join in at the tail end of the pack. Ryan Farquhar there just gone through behind Dennis McCulloch, and James still hasn't reappeared. Here he is now. A lot of work to do, Harold.
And no doubt the red mist will be down now, and it certainly is, because he screws the neck off the Tilston Honda. Jackson now in front again, ahead of Adrian Archibald and Richard Britton. Down the Market Hill Road, flat out. The 750 against the 620s of the two men behind him. Jackson, the wide line into Bell's Crossroads. Adrian Archibald second. Richard Britton on the Schimmel Honda in third place. So a three-horse race now. James Courtney having a lot of ground to make up as they go across the start-finish line. Up round the right-hander at Paddock once again. A lovely shot there as the second and third place man battled out on the 620 machines. And look at Brian Gardner. He goes through on the inside of Gary Dines, and at Bell's Crossroads we have another hit from Alan.
Yeah, Stevie Nugent there just clipping the back off Alan McDonald as he came in. Alan was running up alongside Dean Cooper, but Stevie looks okay. Just been attended to there by the marshals. Fuel spilling out of that machine, so the marshals anxious to get it away, and the fire extinguisher there at the ready. And here we see it again in slow motion, just onto the back wheel. No way back from there, and Stevie was off at Cookstown last week. Let's hope he doesn't make it free in his next outing.
And back at the front is still Jackson from Archibald. Closing up on the brakes. Archibald concentrating hard there. He has a quick look over his left shoulder there at Marleycoo to see Richard Britton is still there, losing a little bit of ground. Then it's Brian Gardner and Dines still battling it out. And again we see the rest of the field streaming through as James Courtney now trying to make up all the ground that he had lost in that mistake at Cooley Hill. He is really pushing that 750 to the limit as we see Jeff Downey coming down into the corner. He has a look, but the back wheel slides right round. Another one for you, Alan.
Yeah, classic high side there for Jeff Downey. Just picks himself up, dusts himself down. Let's see it again in slow motion. There it is, goes round. Jeff's over the top, almost back up onto his feet. I think we'll give that in a 5-9, Harold.
Certainly, and Jackson still leads from Archibald. At the front, it's the 750 from the 620 of Archibald, who's not giving anything away. Then we see Brian Gardner hanging on in there. And then it's Gary Dines, and there's James Courtney up to fifth place ahead of Ryan Farquhar and Dennis McCulloch and Owen McNally, all in the 250s. Derek Young and another of the 620 Hondas. So James Courtney on the charge after that mistake at Cooley Hill. But Bob Jackson still leads. Flat out there ahead of Adrian Archibald. Richard Britton still hanging in there in third place. A big battle ahead for James Courtney as we see him come down now, Alan.
And there you see the speed differential between the 750 at 150 miles per hour plus, simply leaving Gary Dines there behind in his wake as he charges down the Cabra straight towards Castle Corner.
Gary Dines on the 250 having to give way to the big capacity machine. It's Jackson Archibald at Bell's Crossroads.
I'm just wondering, Harold, if Bob Jackson is handling problems, because Archibald appears to be closing in on him and Jackson's moving about a little bit, so we'll keep our eye on that.
They're out onto the last lap now, and there's Courtney. Pulls the air with the front wheel, going up the gearbox every time he selects a higher gear. You can see the front wheel come up into the air. He's up round the right-hander there at the Paddock Bend at over 125 miles per hour. Back at Cooley Hill, it's still Jackson from Archibald right on his back wheel. And as you say, Alan, he may have a handling problem because on the twistier bits he seems to be able to make up the ground. Richard Britton still holding on to third. And then we look back to see James Courtney come down now in fourth place. This is where he made the mistake. He doesn't make any this time. He throws the 750 right on its side. Ahead of Brian Gardner now in fourth position. There's Jackson and Archibald still at it. Hammer and Toddens. Down the Market Hill Road for the last time, a back marker in front of him. Can he make a difference as they come down into Bell's Crossroads for the last time? Where's Archibald? He must have got caught back. Something has happened to Archibald. He hasn't appeared. Bob Jackson has a look to see where he is as the checkered flag goes out. Where is Archibald? No sign of him yet. There he comes into shot. He's out of petrol by the look of things. He's wiggling the machine from side to side. He steps off. Starts pushing towards the line. Is he going to hold on to that second place that he has held throughout? Pushing towards the line. There's Britton. He's through to pass him. He moves up to second place. Archibald still pushing over the line. Must be heartbreaking this for him. Courtney coming through now. A big wheelie. He gets past him as well before he goes across the line. Any more to come, and there's Brian Gardner. He gets ahead of him as well. A really heartbroken Adrian Archibald slips from 2nd to 5th without petrol.
So an unfortunate end there for Adrian Archibald, being passed on the line by Britton, Courtney and Gardner. But no doubt about the winner, Bob Jackson, having a good day at Tandragee.
Yeah, we've either got some bad tyres on or the suspension's gone off, because it was handling terrible. Front end was tucking under, the back end was sliding, but it's made me work hard, a bit harder, so yeah.
At times Adrian Archibald did seem to catch up with you.
Yeah, I've caught a few back markers up as well. That held us back a bit, because my throttle was sticking a bit and I wasn't quite sure getting close up to anybody in case it stuck and I touched them. So yeah, I just rode steady away.
So man of the meeting at Cookstown, and I presume man of the meeting at Tandragee. It's been a good week for you.
It's a good start, isn't it?
Just as I come up to the last corner, the bike started running out of petrol and just stopped and had to get off and push it over the line. So I think I finished up about 4th or 5th place.
So who do you blame for that mistake?
Don't know. I'll take the blame.
Adrian can still smile, and the victory in the Classic took Bob Jackson's tally for the day to 2 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd. Dennis Gallagher from Glasgow took 2nd place, Bill Swallow 3rd. So the last lap at Tandragee, and the spectators left with lots to talk about.
Certainly the riders produced the goods today, and we as a club hope that we would like to see them back next year, and we will do our best to make the racing good for them as well.